Hey, everybody, it's Nordo from 9 to Noon. And I'm just using, if you can bear with me momentarily, our normal 9 to Noon show podcast platform to promote a side piece of sorts. It's a podcast that I started with Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply in Minnetonka, and then also Heavy Rotation Brewing in Brooklyn Park. It's called Hops and Hogs. Local barbecue meets local brew. That's kind of how I'm framing it up. And you can find the podcast. It's on the free iHeartRadio app. Just search Hops and Hogs BBQ. And please subscribe. Or you can find us on Twitter/X, Hops, Hogs, BBQ. You can follow us there. New episodes every couple of weeks. And I included the first episode here. So I hope you like it. Otherwise, appreciate you listening to 9 to Noon. When you do, take care. Welcome to Hops and Hogs. My goal is to combine the local barbecue community and the local beer community into one conversation. But while I love both, I'm not an expert in either category. So I enlisted the help of my friends. Aaron Bordage and John Hansen from Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply in Minnetonka, and Ken Smith, owner of Heavy Rotation Brewing in Brooklyn Park. It's the Hops and the Hogs. Here's Hops and Hogs, Episode 1. What are we drinking here? That's the Hops and Hogs. My whole goal in starting this podcast was to combine two things that if you listen to the fan, and maybe you don't listen to the fan, but you're into the same stuff that I am, smoking elite meats on your grill or smoker, and then having good beers along the way. And one of my buddies I first met at a different brewery, and now he and another couple guys own Heavy Rotation Brewing in Brooklyn Park. So I wanted to bring Ken Smith in. Just that's going to be the bit, Ken, is yep. When you come in and join us.
Thank you for bringing the beer.
I'll bring beer anytime.
I'm just going to ask what the hell we drinking.
Sure.
And then you tell us, and then we drink it.
Yeah, so I brought a couple different beers for you guys. I know you guys are kind of light beer enthusiasts, so I brought a Finals Kolsch. Super easy drinking. We call it garage beer. I guess for sake of this, it's grilling beer as well, right? Little fruity, super easy drinking. Coming in at 4.4%, so you can have like 100 of them while you're smoking meat on your Traeger for however long you need to smoke it for. And then follow that with a little Mass Appeal Vienna Lager. So it's going to have a little caramel characteristics to it, a little roasty, a little smoky. So it pairs perfectly with the food that you did smoke, right? So the finals, drink before, Mass Appeal Vienna Lager, drink while you're eating is what I would suggest.
I'm going to be honest, that was way too serious of an explanation.
I know.
It was detailed.
I
loved it, though.
You've almost got to put on... Do you have a podcast voice, Ken? Do you have an alter ego?
Hey, I do host a meat raffle every Wednesday, so I got to put on the voice every once in a while.
You don't sound the same as you sounded when we were talking over at a nearby restaurant here just about 10, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But you churched it up for the podcast, didn't you?
For the podcast. Just it's special for you guys, you know.
I drove 500 feet over there, by the way.
Feet, yeah. If you know you'll know what place he's talking about if you look it up.
Where did you park? I mean, you drove 500 feet and probably parked 300 feet away.
It was inconvenient, actually. I parked in the back. It was a little windy.
And then did you drive back here again?
Oh,
yeah. Jeep's out front.
I was going to give him a little leeway because I thought maybe he was wearing shorts because it is a warm winter. No, he's wearing jeans.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you had to get out of our parking spot because you were going to the bar, and it's parking for us, right? So you were just being courteous.
Yes, absolutely. Hops and Hogs, I was hoping to gather the ambiance. Now, you guys have closed for the day. But at some point, I'd love to do something like this where we're hanging out talking about barbecue, and John's like, well, I gotta go sell a smoker real quick and get the ambiance. And, that's where you guys and I met. I was a customer, and ultimately, you guys were approaching also the radio station for, getting your name out there, right? Mm-hmm. And you guys started a business as everyone has always said, the absolute perfect time is right before a massive pandemic in 2020. and that's where I became a COVID-era convert. That's really when I started. I moved. I lived in Brooklyn Park, speaking of that, actually not too far away from where Ken's Brewery is. And I moved down to Chaska and trying to furnish the place, get everything going, absolutely, honeydew list, etc. I'm like, well, one thing for me, can I get a grill, please? And I roll into this store, and it was like Toys R Us for mid-30s adults who love standing either in their driveway or on the deck, smoking and grilling. Unbelievable spot you guys have here. But that's how we met, in the midst of you guys making this business grow. Happy early or belated 4th anniversary, by the way. That's
early.
pretty sweet.
Yeah, March 3rd. It's coming up.
Wow. But I have to imagine, now you guys didn't start in 2020 the way I did, but your business started. There's got to be a lot of COVID-era converts like me.
It was a huge boom for barbecue.
5-6 years ago. Whatever, brats and dogs, right? A couple of burgers, throw some 93.7 that you had pre-pattied from the grocery store, and it's just trying to get the kids fed, to now really becoming an art form and really a booming industry, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the cool thing is to watch people get into, like, differing cuts, because the longer I always said that when after COVID, when we sold so many grills and smokers during COVID, and so it's not quite that was the heyday for barbecue, but and everybody was doing pork shoulder and ribs or whatever, and I always said that one of two things are going to happen after we get out of this pandemic. Either we're going to go on Facebook Marketplace, and there's going to be just a glut of Traegers and Green Mountains out there for sale. I said, or people are going to stick with it and have fun. And I think that's exactly what we've seen, is that people are like, this is cool, it's fun, my neighbors do it, everybody, we have these cul-de-sac rib wars, and it's great.
And then also on top of that is, what else can I cook on this now?
Right. Yeah.
The fishes, the different cuts of steaks.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the briskets and all the mainstays, but there's so many other things out there that you can cook on these things.
Yeah, ultimately my mission, whether it's via this podcast or, if you guys have heard on the show, I'll mention it. And I've had the opportunity to endorse you guys in the past as well, which is sweet.
You guys have a show?
Yeah, weekdays 9 to noon.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we talk about sports. Yeah, we're home of the Vikings. We're home of the Wild.
Okay, all right.
We're home for the Howl.
I'll listen. I'll check it out.
We're home for Gopher Sports. Well, Ben Johnson's Gopher Squad.
Go.
3 in a row, right? Just beat Izzo. Party at the barn.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing for me is the challenge, right, is you cook that first thing.
Yeah.
That by all accounts, and again, this is where you could do 100 different podcasts, bring 100 people in here, and you'd have 50 different opinions on a finished product, right?
Yeah.
Ribs are probably the most classic example of that.
Yeah.
And you guys are in the competition game, so that's a different universe on its own, which I do want to get to at some point. But once you make that first perfect thing, the only thing you want to do, first of all, you kind of want to make the same thing over and over again.
Yep.
Like that's Nordo's specialty right there. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I know how to do this.
Right.
Oh, if you guys, feed it to my grandparents. Oh, they love those bone-dry ribs that I completely messed up. Oh, they absolutely love it. But the first time, like, you put the claws into the pork butt, and like the bone fell out as you're taking the foil off. I mean, those are moments.
Yeah.
And so you just want to tackle that next challenge. It's I mean, in a culture, in a society that finds various ways to get addicted to various things, addicted to grilling, addicted to smoking in that next challenge. Like,
that's entertainment.
It's unbelievable.
It's it's the best form. Like, other than smoking all day, and then at the end of the day you've got your buddies over and you're a 6-pack in, and you're planing out, your food's good, it's a party. I mean, it's the best.
It reminds me of if you guys have seen the movie Tommy Boy, Chris Farley, he's like, RT, I lost my virginity to your daughter. Rob, you were there, and that was me doing beef ribs for the first time, and they turned out perfect. And in this case, John was there, thank God, to witness the entire thing. Tree falls in the forest and no one is there to hear it. Yeah. Did it happen?
The neighbors were there.
Yeah.
Neighbors, I don't trust the daughters. I love my neighbors. I love my neighbors, but I needed you guys, one of you, I'm just a little puppy, little baby Nords, to affirm what I had made, and that was for me, and that was I've made a million things that I think have turned out great, But this last summer, those beef ribs, I mean, as good as it got.
They were
And you just
really
want to make them.
amazing.
You just want to make them over and over and over again.
You guys are talking a lot about the great things you've made, right? What's the worst thing you've made? Like, you're like, I'm going to try. I can do ribs. I can do brisket. I can do whatever. But I'm going to try something different.
Oh, I
And it
messed
just
everything up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is you'd mess everything up.
Sure.
But what was the colossal failure?
Yeah.
Man, I got to think about that. I've had a lot of judges tell me that. You've been cooking competition barbecue for 8 years, and here's your 6s instead of 9s. But that's another story for another day.
It's funny you asked that question. I was thinking about that earlier today because I was thinking about topics to talk about today, and it was like, yeah, failures. And one of them was, doing competitions, and like you said, we'll get into that later on, but missing a turn-in time, huge, colossal failure. You put all that time into all that, and you miss that turn-in time, and all for nothing. Colossal failure.
But has there been anything that you've put on the Traeger or any other grilling thing where you're like, I can't eat this. This is awful.
Well, yeah, for me,
I know that I have, but I'm trying to think of it.
Yeah.
This is where I'm kind of getting into, like, the meat matters, the quality of the meat. And I've told you guys about this, but those listening to the podcast, it was like a 5-pound pork butt. So it was just a little baby guy.
That's not a butt, bro. That's not a butt.
Well, okay, but
You had a piece of pork.
I had effectively a piece of pork, yes.
All right.
It's a part of
And
it.
I-
One sitting, yeah.
And I tried to go through the same process that I would for a larger set, and I smoked that thing to death. It was the driest.
Yeah, it's pork goo.
Yeah, it was the most disgusting thing that I've ever eaten.
It's amazing. There is a magic point for pork where it's like, oh, this is good. And then if you're little on one side, it's dry. Too far on the other side, it's pork goo.
It was so hideous. And that's where, like, at my house, like, my wife's great about it. She and I, similar tastes in terms of foods and things. But the kids, vastly different, my 2 daughters. When my kids love it, that's almost a bona fide, I mean, that is an absolute, like, you messed something up. If the kids love it, kids couldn't get enough of it. Kids couldn't get enough of it. The pork goo.
I mean, your kids are young enough that it wasn't that long ago they were eating, pork out of a little jar.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you think about it.
Basically, like the baby bird.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I never did that, by the way.
Did you ever see, like, we had a friend that we went and hung out at a brewery the other day, and they had the pouch of chicken goo, essentially, where it was like baby food. You're talking about the pork stuff or whatever. It was like a pouch, like the applesauce containers you'll see, right, for the kids to eat.
Yeah.
Just chicken.
Chicken.
For a child?
For a child.
We have the same thing at home, but therefore our cats.
Yeah,
and we get them at a big chain store, pet store thing.
That's what I thought it was for cats. It said for 5 and under.
Is that lady feeding cat food to her child?
Maybe. I don't know.
What kind of brewery we're running here? I got to go check this out.
It wasn't at our place, I'll say that.
Do you guys do anything special for the Super Bowl from a cooking standpoint?
I really don't. I used to. Back in the day, I used to, younger Aaron, when we had more time. And, I mean, I hate to say it, but when you get into cooking competition, you're kind of in a rhythm. You get to a day where, we'll just do dumb stuff like nachos and, just easy stuff. I'm craving those damn carnitas that I made the other day, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got to do that again. But,
How about that? By the way, quick aside to interrupt you. You do the frying and then you smoke. I had not seen that, and I guess that's new to me from that in terms of that process.
For the carnitas?
For the carnitas, yeah.
Yeah.
And you just fry it in pork fat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, they were so damn good.
That was the best carnitas I've ever made, and it'd been a while, so I just followed Meat Church's recipe. We played with some different dry rubs, but yeah, that stuff was awesome. But
did you bag up any and take it home?
There was, dude. What's funny is we had.
I thought there was going to be. There were 3 or 4 of us here, and you made 20 pounds of it.
3 pork collars. It was 12 pounds after I cubed it up, and I'm like, oh my god, what are we going to do with all this pork? It was gone.
Yeah, we destroyed it.
Well, we did. The neighbors, everybody ate well. Brad took home a little pile for the family, but Yeah.
Do you think that made it home to the family, or did you think you eat it on the way home?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Put it in a cup like this, a little fork. Rush hour traffic.
Ate it from here to the drive to the bar next door.
That's a 45-minute drive home. Yeah, okay. I get it.
Yeah, back to the Super Bowl. When are they going to move this damn thing to Saturday?
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, come on. What are we doing? Sunday night sucks. Yep. Or make Monday a holiday. Come on.
Speaking of which, I'm going to be sick on Monday.
Yeah. Monday.
Bottle flu.
Is this news?
It's going to be bottle flu, John.
Well, of course.
I was actually
heard
thinking
about a case of that going around lately.
I was thinking about this today. I'm like, I was literally saying the same thing. That why the hell don't we have the game on Saturday? And why isn't Monday a holiday? Well, I own this joint. So it's like,
why don't you just close on
somebody's
Monday?
got to start it.
Holiday,
Somebody's got to start this, closed on Monday thing. So maybe it's up to me.
I mean, we close early on Sunday because of it, because we're just doing beer to go.
Yeah. So if it was Saturday, Ken, what would your joint look like if it was Saturday night Super Bowl?
Saturday night Super Bowl would be packed.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Sunday
cool
Super Bowl
would you guys do?
Because everyone wants to be home.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to think it would be an absolute boon for the restaurant industry to have it on Saturday.
I mean, you think about it, on Sunday, everybody's like, we'll come here, get meat, we'll go to the brewery, get beer, whatever it is, right? But you do a lot of stuff at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So bars and restaurants, everybody thinks go out to the bars, restaurants for a Super Bowl party. No chance.
No.
Nope.
That's why
bars, restaurants, it is the slowest day
Yep.
of the year for any bar and restaurant is Super Bowl Sunday that night.
And that's why I don't cook. That's why I don't cook, because it's on Sunday.
Yeah. I should probably shut up because it'll be good for us, because people be buying meat to go home and cook, the adventurous. But yeah,
some Zabatons to go.
Yeah.
You got any bavettes?
Of course we do.
Okay.
Just a couple.
You got any Wagyu ground beef?
Yes, sir.
Any competition ribs?
Of course.
Got a couple of racks in there.
Racks of backs, yeah.
Racks of backs.
Okay. What about fish? You guys seafood at all? You interested in any of that?
Just a few different cuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those Oishi shrimp over there are just staring at me right now.
No, I'm with you on the Saturday thing. I think that, culturally we've adjusted over the course of time. So many people will just not work on Sunday.
Yeah.
So many more people are working at home now in general.
Yeah.
Sunday or Monday?
Monday.
Monday. Yeah.
Okay.
Pajama pants. What was cat blankets, etc. Can't remember exactly what a recent quote from a big city mayor in these parts had to say, but he painted an interesting picture. And so, as he would say it, everybody just be losers on Monday, and it's okay. And it's because we're just joking here, so it's all good. But yeah, I'm with you on the Saturday thing, and for me, I love what I do, and I'll never complain about it at all. But the ability to chill on Sunday, and then do the radio. I mean, it's not like the talkers are fewer on a Monday after the Super Bowl if it's on a Saturday,
right?
But then if it's on the Saturday, then the driveway is hopping.
By the way, I just realized. The three of us really can't complain. You start at 9. We open at 10.
Yeah. No.
What time's the brewery open?
Well, I mean, I don't get there till later, but our guy gets there at 5 a.m. He'll be there.
I don't even think his brewery's open on Mondays, is it?
We're open 7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stop on in.
You're not making the beer, though.
I don't make the beer.
No, that's a Josh.
That's Josh.
Josh is so good at what he does. Heavy rotation. What's this beer again?
If you're drinking the Vienna Lager, the Mass Appeal.
Mass Appeal.
Our finals Kolsch.
It is fitting, and I'm not a country music guy, that we're using black solo cups, given the recent news about Toby Keith.
When I picked these up the other day, he wasn't dead.
He wasn't dead yet.
Oh, man. I might have predicted something, not even known it.
Can we get a quick moment of silence? All right, that's enough.
It's one of those things, and I'm not a big country music guy, but when I first started working at the radio station, it's in St. Louis Park, and my introduction to Toby Keith was Toby Keith's bar. And so, after work, he's got the giant guitar-shaped bar in there.
That was a cool bar, actually. It was pretty cool.
But the biggest thing for me, the producer of 9 to Noon, not exactly always flush with cash, and just $2 taps from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. was awesome.
You can't beat
it was every weekday.
And you got out of work at noon.
Well, I didn't stay there until 7. I just mean the window of opportunity.
So wait a minute. I'm starting to figure something out. So what happened to Toby Keith's? Oh, yeah, they closed. And then somewhere along the way, Northern Fire opened, and
and then
Where are you talking about?
Barstool.
Are you saying? Are you saying? Hold on here. I don't
Hey,
like it.
it's all right. Cheers to that.
Oh, okay.
But we have a new.
Let's just try to make it to 5 years, though.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
One more
Please,
year.
please.
And apparently, I can't guarantee that. I'm just saying that was the only introduction that I ever had to Toby Keith. I wasn't listening to country music. I wasn't boot scooting and boogieing.
Great live show.
Speaking of
electric sliding,
anniversaries,
nitty gritty dirt band. I wasn't doing any of that.
Yeah.
But I would sit there. I'm like, oh, yeah, music's not bad.
Yeah. Tolerable.
Yeah, another tab, please. And my tab.
all right, let's get off of this morbid stuff. And
Yeah.
Speaking of
Rest in peace,
anniversaries, Heavy Rotation has
Yeah.
an anniversary coming up too.
2 years already. So 2 years in April.
Congrats.
Pretty wild stuff. Thanks, yeah.
Yes,
We'll
yes.
see. We still got 2 months to get there, but we'll make it work. No, it's always a good time. Anniversaries.
You're already making plans.
We're already making plans. We already posted it. We got the music booked.
I was thinking about that the other day because long story, but social media is not my jam. So now we got a guy. But
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Well, not on the way here because I drove and the whole thing.
I was going to say that was a really short trip.
Yeah, we were talking
Short
about
talk.
how you were killing it on social media.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. This is what happens when you hire your weaknesses, or what do they say?
Sure.
Anyway, yeah. So I don't do that anymore. But I'm always looking at your site, and I'm like, holy crap! It's something every day.
Every day.
I get that
Every
you guys
day.
can't have a rhythm and a
Sure.
routine. I don't know. Maybe we need to have meat raffles here. I don't know.
Honestly, we told a couple of different places that we make beer for that, like, hey, you should try a meat raffle, and took off. Everybody's afraid of doing the same thing as everybody else. But I would just say it's just copy paste with better ink and better paper, right?
Dude,
That's all you got to do.
everybody loves a meat raffle,
Oh,
first
hell yeah.
off.
I can't tell you. It's funny because, there's only so many barbecue stores in the universe, but we all kind of know each other and we all follow kind of similar patterns. And how many times I've got this genius, great idea, and I'm working on creating some art to, throw it out there on social media, get up in the morning, look at my phone, and somebody else did it. And I'm like, okay, now I'm just a follower. It's just, and I'm sure it happens to everybody.
There's only so many ideas out there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can only smoke ribs so many different ways. You can only make so many different kinds of beer, right? But if you do it better and you do it exactly the way you want to do it, hey, that counts for something, right?
If somebody wins meat at the meat raffle, are you willing to put it back in the cooler until they complete their stay?
Every single time.
Okay.
That's actually the move, right?
No,
Because if they win meat right away, and
You don't want them to leave.
we don't want them to leave. No.
Well, no, I had that.
you have to leave.
Take the hell out of here.
I had that happen where I won 4 pounds of ground beef
Nice.
at a meat raffle. And this is the dead of summer. And so, I'm not even blaming the establishment on this. It was a Legion, but I left and realized, well, I better call. This is one of those cab trips, and so leave the car. Where I put the beef.
In your car?
Put the beef, in the old 96 Acura Integra.
Was it done the next day?
It was medium rare burgers all around. Yeah, just absolutely.
I can't tell you
so
how many
awful.
times customers have done that.
You just forget about it.
Yeah.
Just forget about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm going to throw this in the trunk. I'll come back later, the whole thing, and then I never come back.
My favorite is this guy that drives this sweet, $130,000 Tesla and buys really nice meat, but he puts it in a very specific spot because Teslas are all trunk. There's 15 different places, but
And there's a little cooler that they can put it in there too.
the front of the car is kind of a cooler, and the back of the car is where you want to put hot stuff. So, yeah, he put it in the front of the car and then forgot about it and had to come in and tell me. So, yeah.
What a weird thing, cleaning out the Jeep once in a while. I've opened, whether it's the center console or a couple of little cubbies, you find something
Yeah, kids.
hey, that's a business
I
car.
remember those days.
Oh, if we went back there right now, I'm so mad. I'm not a neat freak or a clean freak by any stretch of the imagination, but things that are sticky or wet are the grossest things on the planet to me as it pertains to food, garbage, like a pop can that's just I hate those things.
I think you just described kids.
But then it only took once, and I would vacuum, do my own detailing type of thing, just keep it mostly clean. Took one time, one of the kids left a crayon in there, and then it was a little bit half melted, then it was sat on, and it's just in that fat. There's no coming back for that thing. And I've just allowed it to become a complete sty. And so I find various, just like a kid's sweatshirt. I find my kids' books. They're getting late fees from the school library. Well, I know where it is. It's under the seat in my Jeep. But picture just trying to clean stuff out. And you just open up. It's that's a ribeye in there. It's a ribeye. It's a ribeye in my vehicle that I bought 2 months ago. That would be absolutely awful.
So there was a team that we sponsor here, BBQ. He came in and bought all of his meat for a competition.
T-Roy.
Goes through, picks it all out, takes it out to his truck. No, he was not driving his truck. He was driving his wife's car at that time. Didn't put it where he normally puts it in his truck when he got home. He forgot about it, and it was 90 to 100 degrees out. Went out the next morning. He was back here in the store the next day. He was like...
And competitions, you're talking $500-600 worth of meat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
boxes of meat he brought in. We were like, yep, that's done. Yep, that's done. He's like, yep, I need to buy it all over again.
Well, not only is that expensive, but the silver lining to it is he actually entered it into the competition, finished sixth.
Right.
Unbelievable.
That might have been his
first place. New method.
He did have a killer year last year.
I think that might have been his grand champion.
That might have been his whole bit.
He slow car cooked that brisket that he took to Worthington, and the judges, this is delicious.
Is that legal? Can you slow car cook a brisket before?
Troy. Pity
I hope not. Hey, he doesn't. The competition check's still cashed.
Exactly.
So he's the winner in all of this, and it is so. When because I saw, you texted us, Johnny and I the other day. He got a new baby, Ken.
Oh,
yeah, he got a new offset, a new Outlaw smoker, and this stick burner is a freaking Cadillac. On 20s, it looks like. Are those spinners?
yeah, spinners.
Jay Craig, I gotta ask. Shout out Jay Craig and see if he can get us some spinners for that thing.
Oh, that thing is sweet. So you burn it in, obviously, spray it with duck fat, do the whole thing. You got to run through like you mentioned, and that's what's interesting because for me, and I got stupid questions galore when it comes to competitions, and kind of the mission of this podcast, if anything, is I'm a Minnesota kid that loves cooking up here. I think that in some ways Minnesota, I don't want to say it's the antithesis of barbecue, but from a flavor standpoint, from a culture standpoint, I think Minnesota's on the come. It's got some catching up to do when it comes to other regions, maybe. But I know that there are a ton of people here that love it, just like I do, and they love learning about it. They love doing it.
You know what's funny though is we get people up here because we're barbecue people, right? So if a guy moves from Texas or Kansas City or whatever,
he's got to find a spot.
They're going to end up here, and we're going to end up talking. And man, I don't convince yourself for a minute that those guys are any smarter than anybody in Minnesota, because they'll come up here and tell us, buy some random crap and tell us how they're going to cook ribs, and I just look at them like,
yeah,
is that how you do it in Kansas City? It's like, okay, and I've always said, in my defense, I've always said, hey, if you make it and you like it, keep doing it. It doesn't matter. My opinion absolutely does not matter.
That's the key, right?
But everybody's got a way, and everybody's got some kind of a trick or a family tradition or whatever. But
as part of that, and I'm glad you mentioned that because ultimately that's where I've always sat on things. I still remember because I've cooked ribs so many different ways, and I'm not doing recipe sharing tonight.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a thing down the road.
Yeah.
but I've cooked them so many different ways, from it's falling apart when I try to take it off the rack to more of what, I've gone through with your guidance from a competition standpoint.
Right.
It's so juicy, it's so tender, but there's that bite. And the bite matters, right?
I want to see your teeth.
But it's like, I have my dad over and I cook ribs the way you like it. Well, he always appreciated the fall off the bone. He asked me if they're under. He's like, are you sure you cooked them long enough, Eric?
Hey, Eric.
Like my own father just ripping me. It's unbelievable.
But did he also say, how long did you have these in the crock pot?
Well, I'll have you know, Dad, they were baked.
Is that one of the biggest controversies, like the fall off the bone rib versus like the chew from the bone?
Yeah.
Because
it's a tale as old as time, really,
right?
isn't it?
That grew out of
This
competition.
Vienna is great, though, I got to tell you.
Nice.
Yeah, the Kolsch is great, too. That's gone.
Like, that always blew my mind, like, because everyone's like, oh, it's got to fall off the bone. And then my buddy started doing some just makeshift competition stuff. He's like, no, you do not want it to fall off the bone.
Yeah.
It's like, that means you overcooked it.
Mm-hmm. Anybody can do that.
So,
yeah, but it's funny. It's like, I wonder who the guy is that decided that there was a standard for rib cooks. Like there's standards now for brisket, but who is the Yahoo that's sitting in a garage in Kansas City when they started the Kansas City Barbecue Society, which is a cool story, by the way. Literally started by two people in their neighborhood, and now it's a global organization.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. But someone down there decided that, no, we're not judging on taste. We're going to judge on taste and tenderness and appearance.
Well, I think, but that creates the narrow window, right?
Does.
Which then that's where the skills come in.
Exactly, and that's, like I said, anybody can overcook ribs.
Sure.
I've done it. But, it's just an interesting, kind of mind game, Like, we've got customers that are judges, and, they come in and buy ribs, and they have a gas grill. They don't even have a smoker, and they're a judge. I'm like... But that's cool.
but it gets to what I was thinking is, like, you getting ready, like you mentioned it earlier, is because I cook all the time. Like, it's a process. I have my ways. I have my routine in some ways, and then you even kind of rattled it off, right? Like you're cooking the core four, so you gotta you look at it maybe in some ways professionally from the competition standpoint a hell of a lot differently than me. Like I love that smoker I got from you guys, Anchor Grills. It's local down. I'm all about local, and Paul put just a beautiful thing together for me.
Great bits.
It's different than me running my Anchor out into the garage and just getting that fire going in the driveway, and then just doing that one particular thing, and then also, by the way, doing it to a specific standard, like the reps that you have put in over the course of time. It just sounds daunting to me.
Yeah.
In the end, I've had your food a bunch, and most recently in those carnitas. It kicks ass. So I know that the result is good.
You should start judging.
Well,
I need you, bro.
What does it take to judge?
And also, when are they putting carnitas onto the
Right.
KCBS?
I should fight for that. I'm going to run for the board and
But that process,
win carnitas team of the year.
Before, like, you burn in that sweet new Outlaw you got, and the first thing I'd be thinking of is I just want to cook something on it, like anything.
Yeah.
And I loved your response to me. You're like, I actually going to wait until I have enough time to run my program. I'm like, well, come on, just cook something on it. Just cook anything.
Trust me,
cook
that was
like 2 individual chicken drums on it or something. Just do something on it.
Well, it was like this summer we were standing out here, and I thought you guys were cooking something. We came in to have a beer, shoot the crap, whatever, and you were just seasoning.
It was his pit.
Was it his?
Yeah,
It was
I think
his
it was Nordo's pit.
I was like, I showed up. I'm like, oh, they're making something. I'm going to eat some of this stuff. Like, this is going to be amazing. Like, no, we're just seasoning it.
Remember when?
Oh yeah, it was the flat rock.
It was the flat rock.
Hey, John,
We didn't cook anything on that.
remember
you guys
when
were just seasoning it up. I think there was something going on the next day, maybe.
Oh, okay.
You guys are doing one of your cooking classes or whatever, but I was like, oh, I'm going to eat some great food. This is awesome.
Remember when we burned in my Anchor Grill smoker that I was so excited about? And the first thing we cooked on it was
A brownie.
an oven brownie.
Brownie s'more thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough subject.
That's not. We burned it in here.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
We did.
You took it home. Brad took it home.
No, the very
when that smoke starts coming, the people start walking.
Oh, I forgot about the s'mores.
Yeah, unbelievable.
There was a brownie. There was a brownie tray that showed up.
I don't know where that thing came from.
Somebody wanted us to put this brownie s'more thing on the smoker.
Hey, what are you guys doing? We're burning in his new smoker. Cool if I cook this on it? What?
That goes back to my question of like, what's the worst thing you've ever cooked on a smoker?
Yeah,
that
here's
might
what I'll
be
say.
it, actually.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
No, it was good. I mean, it was, set it and forget it. I mean, it was a brownie. It wasn't bad.
Gigantic 700-pound smoker out there running. Guy walks
Just
up.
a little brownie.
Hey, what do you got on there?
It was like a 4x6 tray of a brownie thing in a disposable aluminum foil thing.
Refrigerated brownie that you just throw in the oven, and we threw it in the smoker.
I'm honestly just remembering it. Just, would you mind if I cooked this on? Yeah. Anything else? Anything else? Do you got some freshly kneaded bread in the back? Like,
I've got a neighbor, and I love the guy, but my neighbor Tom, Missy and I are like, this time of year we need to be out cooking and getting our crap together for barbecue season. And I'll roll my smoker out, and I swear to God, it's got its first puff of smoke out the stack, and my neighbor Tom will come running over and is like, "Can I go buy a rack of ribs and have you throw them on?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." It makes me crazy because we're in a groove, we're doing our thing, and I got a random Cub Foods rack of ribs next to my $30 comp art.
So how disappointed was he last weekend when you told him you were just burning it in?
You know what? He did swing by. He was walking his new dog, but Missy talked to him. I didn't get a chance to chat with him. But
that is one of my favorite things, and it's not about me being antisocial, but I'm not, and I'll never be the guy.
No, you're not that.
That's going door to door in the neighborhood trying to make friends. That's not me. Now, if we interact and we can combine resources for some particular reason, I'm there. I'm in. I want to be a helper. I want to be as good as I can be to anybody that enters into my life. But I'll tell you, and for a guy like me, the conversation starter is that puff of smoke. I mean, it's so much fun in my neighborhood. People, what are you cooking? Well, obvious, it's like if I'm looking, it's not cooking. I get it, but it's like, come on over.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your name? Check this thing out. Look at this. Oh, look at it. Then there's some grunting and weird noises that take place. Again, that affirmation. Yeah, that affirmation that's take. Hey, it's it's amazing, man.
I've witnessed it a few times, and when he's smoking in his driveway, he has a whole ring of people sitting around in lawn chairs waiting for this food to be done.
It's food evangelism is really what it is. Yeah, and
the sweat.
Everything was fine. John started handing out Northern Fire business cards, and then it just kind of felt a little awkward at times. And
throw him some BOGOs for heavy rotation next time you get
no kidding. You got some cards on you too.
I'll get some cards going.
Let's get the whole thing going. But like feeding people, like it's amazing.
Yeah,
now, I'm not handing out a free rib bone to every person that walks down the street and every Fido that's trotting along with them. But there's something about like when that finished product comes off. Again, as a COVID era convert, I'm new to this. I'm not trying to pretend to be an expert here. Like there's something special about that. Like it's so amazing when you kick that. Well, I mean, you just perfect it. It's so good. Yeah. And then everyone just goes, "Oh yeah,
you know what's funny?
That's right. That's good."
I tell this story a lot, and you guys have probably heard it because I say it too often. But I remember a long time ago, I was sitting around with one of my buddies. I couldn't even tell you who, but. I'm like, it was at a competition, so I've always got, we got.
No, you got 50 close friends.
Probably I think it was my buddies in Popo Pork, Tim and Greg and Jeremy. I don't know, but I'm like, isn't it crazy? Podcast. Like, we go out to these contests, we can go anywhere, like Iowa, Washington Island, Wisconsin, and everybody's great. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's got a smile on their face, and and then game time comes and we all kind of go to work, but we still do 922 shots. We do all of our things, and I'm like, but it's weird that like I don't know anything about like being on an NFL team or NASCAR or whatever, but when we go to a contest, everybody's great. They're terrific people, and I'm like, what a weird like group of people that everybody's just so terrific, and. I wish I could remember who pointed this out. They said, well, think about this. How did you get into barbecue? I'm like, well, I love cooking for people. There's nothing better than cooking something.
Nothing better.
Spending your whole day doing something and then serving it to somebody and watch their eyes roll back in their head. And it's like, that's the win. That's why I do this. So all these people that are into barbecue in a big way, the majority of them aren't doing it for their own entertainment. Some are, for sure. But you're doing it because you're thinking about others. And those generally are good people.
Well, and I was mentioning this to John, and all of us in one way or another, maybe even whether it's the smoking and grilling aspect of it, that's the focal point, but just even cooking in general. For me, if I'm over at your house and you're cooking, I am going to way overeat. I mean, I'm going to take my serving. I'm going to take a couple other people's servings with me to go. I got plastic lined pockets. I'm handling business. But if I'm cooking, it's the weirdest thing, man. Like 9 hours for that brisket. It was similar 9-10 hours for those beef ribs. Whatever I'm cooking, for some reason, like I'm slicing it up, and it's almost like I'm being fed by what. Like I don't eat that much of my own food. Now,
no, me neither.
You're eating it as you're smelling it.
No, it's unbelievable. Like now the next 3 days, I'm grabbing the freezer bags out of the fridge and the leftovers. A little bit of brisket, put a little mayo. Now I'm shredding some brisket. I'm making nachos. Like I got ideas 4 days for the next week basically to eat the leftovers. But when it's done, I just kind of stare at it. Then I'm like everybody else. I got to take 50 photos of it.
And phone eats first.
Every single time. I kind of just watch other people eat. I have a couple of strips. I'm like, I didn't bleep that up. I mean, that's pretty damn good, guys. And that's again, it's cooking for people is amazing when you hit it right.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, when you completely screw it up.
You know what's funny though is that 90% of the time, maybe more than that. You think you did a horrible job, didn't hit your marks. It happens to me all the time. It happens to me at contests where Missy and I will be like, well, we know we're not going to get a call on chicken today. The chicken was trash.
Yeah.
And we get a call on chicken. It's like,
well, you're going to be your hardest critic, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Without a doubt.
Yep. So I was going to say earlier too. It's funny. People come in here, and I've learned so much about humans just in how they interact with groups and talking about food. And we just had that gal tonight. She's going to do pork belly tonight this weekend.
Sweet.
It sounded like the first time she's done it. We gave her a recipe, helped her out, and she's just jazzed. She's amped. But then we have guys come in here. Had that today too. Hey, got this brisket, and they're sweating it. Big time, like just overthinking it. And I always tell people, you just chill out and cook.
Just cook it.
But man, like guys, I mean, I've seen so many guys come in here just like stop worrying, just lighten up.
Yeah,
you're not solving trigonometry here. You're cooking food, but
like I don't really grill a lot, but when I do, it's fun. Right? Like, it should be a fun thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't stress out about it. Because if you're stressing out about it, then, like, you're saying, like, you're watching, you invite people over and you're watching everybody eat it, and you're like, oh, he didn't like the way I cooked those brats that what are you talking about? Like, just have fun with it.
Right.
Don't overthink any of things.
That's generally what grilling, barbecuing is you're having people over, you're feeding people, and it's a good time.
And there's some libation involved.
Oh, of course, right. Like,
my sister-in-law made some bad burgers one time.
Did you still eat it?
Never talk to her again. No, I ate it and enjoyed it. I ate it and enjoyed it. It doesn't, and that's over the course of time, I imagine whether it's the quality of the meat. I mean, we can do some serious deep dives where we can really dig into specifics about stuff. But in the end, it's the community aspect. But I'll say this: I'm not immune to worrying. And John knows this. I keep referencing John.
Yeah. You're
John,
one of the guys.
John's my training meat. He's my training wheels. Like I freak out.
I felt like you bought a smoker and we sent John home with you.
A little bit. A little bit.
I'm still looking for my room over there too.
It's
just
we got one in the basement. It's right next to the beer
Michigan,
fridge.
And here's John's phone number. Just have a case of Coors Light and he'll be right over.
But that's the good mood, good vibes, all of that. It's so basic, and I think if you said that to somebody that came in, like I picture like in your store, and really even outside of the store, but you would present yourself as a barbecue expert. A lot of competitions. You've carried a lot of trophies. Like you've been doing this for a long time. If the average person comes up to you and they're like, "What's like one really simple thing that could help me?" and you're like, "Just be in a good mood when you're cooking."
Yeah.
They look at you like you're an a-hole.
I know.
Like, what the hell is that about?
You know what they think? They think I'm not going to tell them that there's some other, like, you know.
Like you got secrets.
Yeah.
You got.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It competition barbecue, like everybody gets this idea, and I'll tell you everything. Well, wait a minute. I'll tell you everything I know because Missy's got her role and I've got mine. So people sometimes think I'm not telling them the whole truth, but it's like, injections.
Maybe that's the secret.
That's Missy's thing.
Is you've divided roles so you never know what she's doing. She never knows what you do. So if either of you get kidnapped, the other one can't tell you how to perfect your competition barbecuing.
I want to meet the people
It's
that
planned
want to
like
abduct
that.
a couple of 55-year-olds. Go.
There's a lot of weird people out there, Aaron. There's a lot of weird people. But to that end, I just, I had it, mid-cook for a brisket one time. Like I lost fire in the burn box. And it was just because my oak sticks were too thick. And the fresh ones weren't burning. They weren't burning.
See
no,
that?
It's a simple tool. Trust me, I know. And I'm losing my mind. And he's my therapist. He's just, dude, will you just shut up and just restart some new charcoal and everything's going to be fine?
Food's fine.
And
Meat
stop whining
care.
about it?
Yep.
No, that's the key.
Yep.
The meat doesn't care.
No.
And I needed him to say that. And I wiped the sweat from my brow, restarted the charcoal, and it was elite food.
Off we go.
I just need. He's my training wheels.
That's it.
Because I do freak out about that. Like it's not going completely according to plan. Frankly, I still haven't had a cook.
Now wait,
that has gone completely according to plan.
I don't know anything about baking, but everything I've learned about baking is that has zero tolerance for what we just talked about. You can't lose temperature. Everything goes crap. Can't open the oven. There's all kinds of crap for baking.
Yes.
But smoking, you can get away with a lot of temperature variation. Like people now, these new, the Traegers and Yoders and everything that's out there. They
got the digital. They got the digital
your
face
phone.
on there.
It's communicating to you all the time.
I got the app, Aaron.
I got another thing.
I got Wi-Fi.
But so now we've trained all these people to there's no absolute temperature, right? But everybody thinks that we get people that are in here. It's like, wow, I'm off by 10 degrees. I'm swinging 20 degrees, -10, +10. Nothing matters. It doesn't matter. Just cook. But every piece of meat is different. The girls are going to do their thing. Just relax and cook. You're good.
It is kind of funny hearing you guys talk about like, oh, I didn't make it right, or I didn't do this, and everybody's watching me and they're not going to like it, whatever. And they always love it, right? Same thing our guy Josh does. He's like, this one didn't turn out the way I wanted it to.
I was going to say, you have to have the same thing with the brewing and the beer. And
he just, I'm like, dude, shut the hell up. I'm like, he's like, wow, I wish it could have been this. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, look at the sales of it. People love it. Look at the reviews of it. They love it, right? As long as they're having a good time, they like it. Then who? Like,
so you're his John.
I am. I pretty much. Yeah. I pretty much am.
Calm down.
Well, I've been saying this for years, at least the last few years since I've known you. Everyone needs a John in their life, right? Mm-hmm. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Someone to pump you up and
Well, he quit smoking, so now we'll keep John around a little longer.
There we go.
Well, time out.
Congratulations.
We're doing a barbecue thing. I didn't quit smoking food.
Oh, correct. Yeah, sorry.
I quit the lung darts.
Yeah.
I wonder how that changes your taste palette. Ooh. Like how much more sensitive, maybe not right away, but let's say 6 months from now, suddenly you're like, my God, this has so much salt on it.
Well,
this segment brought to you by Livia's Salt, Pepper, and Garlic.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
we can go.
Love Livia's, by the way. But to in all truth,
speaking
though,
of sponsors,
I wonder if taste palettes can change.
We will find out over the next.
Okay,
let's go grab a bottle of sauce and see if he likes it. My pick?
No, let's not.
My
Bring,
pick?
let's not.
We've
let's
got
not
some
bring
choices.
up.
We
No,
got-
no. Let's not bring up certain names of products.
What is that? The flavor wall over there?
It
Is that
is
what
the
I heard
flavor wall,
earlier
yeah,
today?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the flavor wall.
You got a problem with that, bro?
The schnozberries taste like schnozberries. But I am interested in that. What is with competitions? Because I've talked to Johnny a lot about this. I am a noob to all of that. I want to participate in one.
Let's go.
How do I do it?
You just can't have Sean.
We're doing it. Now we have a name too.
Hops and Hogs.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't use that, can you? We had another name. We had a better name. Damn it, what was it?
No, I don't think it was appropriate.
No.
Oh, it definitely wasn't.
The first
Are
one.
you kidding me? It's barbecue. You know what kind of like appropriate and barbecue names does not
that's
go
fair.
together.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Listen to me and my
Slap my
Midwestern
butt, pull my
sensibilities. I just can't believe you'd say that.
How dare you?
Leave it to you two to want a clean barbecue name. Oh
Yes.
gosh, we don't want to offend anybody.
Lots changed. I've gotten older. Third kid on the way. I just
congrats.
That's right. Yeah, congrats.
slowing
with
down. Well, but it's good to have hobbies at home. I'll tell you that.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to be cooking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wrapping briskets, very similar to diapers.
basically the same.
Swallow the brisket.
Although I'm taking I'd add beef tallow to a brisket or something like that. I'm taking away when I'm changing the diapers. That's a removal of substances.
I can't wait till you're half awake and you're putting the beef tallow on the baby. And
Oh yeah.
Hey, also
4:30 in the morning. Just
speaking of which, at what time does my room get
This isn't
taken by
lotion?
the other one?
No,
I get
that's-
kicked
oh,
out.
that's coming up
I
quick.
don't know.
It's coming up quick.
Well, if anything, I think at some point I'm, with the three ladies, my wife and two daughters, it feels like I'm the odd person out in this equation. I'll be the one taking the bedroom in the basement.
Oh, like
feels like it.
Like I text straight away. You're the
for it.
ultimate girl dad now.
I am.
Right,
I am unintentional, but
Yeah.
but certainly it's been a blessing thus far. Is there some what should a noob like me who wants to dive into a competition do? Because it's daunting. Because all you guys are rolling up there, it's like Jets and Sharks, and you're like the outsiders standing there, and I'm just like, hey guys, let's all have fun barbecue. And you're like, screw this, screw the new guy.
not at all, actually.
probably
It's
messing with
completely-
me.
It's completely the opposite. If you go to a contest, I remember I used to be that guy. Missy and I, when we started, we were like, we didn't talk to anybody. We stayed in our corner.
How long was your beard when that was?
About as long as yours.
Oh, really?
It was weak.
Oh, this is a long time ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you call me Patches.
I'm just saying.
You can call me Patches with this awful thing I have on my face. But yes, continue.
But there's this term shiggin in barbecue, and if shiggin means you're stealing somebody's recipe, and I took it way too literally. I'm like, I'm not asking for nothing. Blinders on. Don't even look at what I'm not.
Right.
I'm not going to look. As we got older and more seasoned and got to know more people, you can ask anybody anything. You can go literally to the GOAT, greatest on earth, down in Iowa. Darren Worth, just Hall of Famer last year. Darren will tell you anything. He doesn't care. He'll tell you everything. It doesn't matter. You can't.
He might tell you all. He'll tell you enough to get going.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, but
you don't have the touch. You don't have the Darren Ward touch.
Leave a little nuances out.
Exactly.
yeah. Barbecue.
Do you think he car cooks? You think he car cooks?
Yeah, and I think
He might have once or twice.
the car cooks.
Have you ever seen that where
We'll have to
somebody
ask
cook
BBQ.
like they
Did
open
you
up the
learn
hood of
that
their
from the
car
GOAT?
and they'll throw
Crack eggs on there, bacon.
yeah. Cook it on the engine block?
Yeah, but don't fear going out there.
It's intimidating. I'll say that.
Yeah, don't.
But maybe that's under. I'm seeing it under false pretenses.
I would say go out there with an open heart and an open mind, and straight out the gate. I wouldn't expect a lot. We always if we go to a contest and there's a new team there, and we go to awards and they get a 8th place, 10th place call.
Sure.
And they get a little pig trophy. all of us seasoned teams are like, see you next week.
Yeah.
Yep, we got one. So we really, we need more teams. We need more cooks. We need more sponsors. We need more judges. So in order to make the world go round, we need more of everything. So
that's actually awesome because, like, in the beer world, it's the same thing. Like, I'm sure you guys have probably seen there's a lot of breweries that have closed recently, right? In the past year or two, right?
Yep.
And
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, some of them haven't had the greatest beer or whatever, but they also don't reach out to people in the industry that are like, hey, we don't know why our Kolsch is tasting like this or whatever it is, right? And they're intimidated.
So do you think it's a proprietary aspect where it's like, speaking of recipes, by the way, like, I don't want to, now this is a true competitor.
Sure.
Versus, looking at it maybe as a community. Because I think there are other aspects where breweries are super supportive of each other.
We won some stuff last year, and then we're entering again this year. But, like,
no need to brag.
No, I know.
The beer's good.
Come on,
man. That's awesome.
No, it is awesome.
That's got to be a competitive world, too.
It's competitive, but at the same time, though, it is a huge family, right? Because if everybody succeeds, we all succeed, right? There's competition, but not really. So when people get too proud to, like, ask, like, oh, I don't know why my ribs are so bad, like, what could I do? I don't know why my Kolsch is so bad, what could I do? Like, reach out, right? Because they're not going to be scared. Like you're saying, like, it's intimidating to show up to something and, like, oh, I don't want to talk to these guys. They've been doing it for so long. I don't want them to think I don't know what I'm doing, right? No, just it's all a big community, right?
There's a big ask of humility there, though, I think. Because in some ways, I mean, I don't have an ego when I cook, But
that's got to be I'm super curious about that world, these brewers, because were they basement brewers? And then I think in Minnesota, I met the guys from Fulton.
Yep.
The original Surly Brewing guy.
Oh, the Surly guy? Yeah.
Surly.
Omar?
Omar, the guy that founded it.
And then Todd?
Todd,
Todd,
the X-Men.
Omar started in, like, his dad's warehouse.
Right.
So, I mean, there's super humble beginnings
between
there.
Fulton and Surly, those guys were kind of the OGs, right, in Minnesota?
Yeah. Summit's been around for a long time,
True. Yeah. But that was, I don't know, you could tell me, but that was that craft brewing that Summit was doing? I mean, what would you call that now?
A lot of those people probably started in their garage or in their basement, right? Like our guy did. Our guy started in his garage.
So how do you guys feel about, like, Summit Brewing versus, what you're doing? Because they're in, like, a national brand.
I'll tell you, like, at the bar across the street, I had an EPA, right? They know what they're doing.
Oh, sure.
They're great, right?
But, I mean, is there
It was the first non-light beer that I ever had.
Yeah, No, there is no animosity between us and the big guys, right? Like, because without the big guys, we don't exist, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's kind of, we would definitely, like, if I had a question about, I want to make this very similar beer, I'd go to them, and they would most likely be like, here's what we do.
Cool.
Right?
That's awesome.
And it's huge, right? It's a big community, right? So when people are scared to reach out, you're potentially going to just fail.
Yeah.
I just reach out.
Like, at one point I had this fascination about brewing beer, and I never did. My kids, funny, one Christmas I got those, like, you used to get those plastic brewing
little
kits.
plastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's
some Mr. Beers or whatever they are.
Yeah, that's one of them for sure. And I had them I got them for Christmas and just never got. I didn't ever take it out of the box, and my son Evan was making fun of me. He's like, "That was a great gift. You ever going to do anything with that?" Yeah, next year I think I'm going to throw it away. But because I found out the yeast dies and all that stuff. But I've always wanted to get into it, but instead I got into barbecue.
I've always thought the worlds collide pretty well because there is a lot of patience involved in both.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of patience, a lot of cleaning, a lot of sanitary things. Right. Like you have to be. But, like, I mean, good ingredients are better, right? So if you're using better meat,
fresh.
Yep. If you're using better hops and better malt, you're going to get a better product.
Can you car brew?
We can car brew. Yeah.
Well, if you can car cook, you can car brew.
You can car brew. It won't be great. I mean, we'll drink it, but it won't be great.
Uh-huh.
Same with the barbecue, too.
Yeah, let's car cook some ribs, car brew some beer, and let's see what happens.
Right.
So that's kind of, this is kind of the mission of the podcast, gentlemen, if you guys are cool with it, is shooting the bleep. Okay, that's first and foremost. But just connecting with people in Minnesota who love barbecue. I mean, that's kind of how I frame it up. And I like learning through you guys on many levels, but specifically competition season is about to hit, right?
Yeah,
The Aaron Bordages of the world maybe have already started running their programs and practicing. You've been looking into, I've always been curious, like, does a flavor at a competition here in Minnesota, does that hit in Kansas City or does it hit in Memphis? Or is it, do you almost have to do something
regionally?
Correct. Are there regional flavors? And, you've probably noticed, hey, the flavor that I was so accustomed to 3 years ago, that's not in right now.
Yeah.
Actually, people are looking for more heat or less heat or
yeah,
this.
that's the toughest thing. Like, Missy and I were like, chicken was our jam. We were never outside the top 10 in chicken, and we've had 16 contests without a top 10 call in chicken. And so we were like, for 4 years we couldn't miss, and for 2.5 can't hit. And so, not that I don't know how to cook chicken. Judges changed. I think COVID changed judges a lot, but it's a weird game.
Well, COVID hit and all these people stopped smoking.
Yeah.
And then their palates changed. That's what happened.
I really think that a lot of the judging community is a older crowd, and I think a lot of people with COVID, they just found other hobbies.
You think so?
So it's a younger crowd. I think everything's kind of moved up, and it's a little hotter.
I was gonna say, has it gone like spice level hotter?
I think
like people want hotter stuff.
So I think the tolerance compared to literally, I mean, a lot of the judging pool is
I thought you were gonna say they lost their taste.
Teeth.
Yeah,
Teeth.
that's a tough
No,
subject.
not teeth.
And the teeth. Which is a problem because you need a little bit of a bite.
Right.
We're cooking ribs here. We're not cooking pulled pork.
Can you see your gums in those ribs?
I said taste, not teeth.
Oh, sorry.
But I'm so fascinated by all that. But in the end, like I just know from talking about it on the Fan and just connecting in social media that there are a ton of people up here that love it. And I know that the competition scene it's simultaneously, and this is from my mindset, it's simultaneously succeeding, it's simultaneously growing, but it still feels simultaneously inaccessible, or at least just the exposure of it, I think, to people like myself,
right,
it's not where it needs to be.
Right.
And so in the end, am I going to change the world by, doing a podcast like this? Probably not. But in the end, hanging out, drinking beer.
Let's change some minds.
Ken's gonna put he's gonna put his podcast voice on, and he's gonna tell us about the Vienna lagers.
I'm gonna be thinking about the podcast voice.
He's got a podcast.
I know.
He has one
changed.
of the best podcast voice I've ever heard.
Do you notice that? And now it's different. Now he's back to himself again. But he started out, well, this is a Vienna lager, gentlemen.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to bring more beer next time.
It comes in at 5.
Are we out of beer?
5.5%.
No, we're not out. No, don't worry about that. We're not out of beer.
Okay.
No, the mass appeal is the Vienna.
Yeah.
And then the
finals.
The final.
No, I've been up to your spot. I've had several finals.
What's the
before.
story behind finals? Are we out of time?
Well, it's the classic. Well, this is a podcast. I was actually trying to wrap it up a few minutes ago, but who cares? It doesn't matter.
It's perfect. Finals.
But the final
I thought
is
you were
great.
doing this.
No, this is the podcast version of a final.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the classic.
Perfect.
It's the classic at happy hour where somebody rolls in, and I have a buddy. I wouldn't
You're
call
on the
it
one more plan.
I wouldn't call it final. I'd call it the one more.
One more?
One of my best buddies in the world.
the
I
one more
love. His name's Justin. I adore this guy. But we go to happy hour, and it's like, man, I got to get home. He's like, one more.
Yep.
And then she pours him
We
one
call
more.
that the one more plan.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. It's like, okay, like this is like, Justin, can we just go, please? one more. And we go through that a few times. That's the final.
Oh, is that where?
Like this is our final.
perfect.
We can't do any more. Final? Yeah, all right, we'll do another one. Like it's
That's
all,
what it is?
Yeah.
Literally, that's where the
100%.
name came from?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
And that's why we kept it low ABV too. So it is the final. Like your final is going to be like 4 of them.
What's your highest
Right.
ABV?
That we've done? Probably 14%.
Holy crap.
So that's like a smoked porter kind of deal.
You gonna bring that next time?
If it's ready.
Well, see, that's
Podcast will last
I heard
about
smoked.
20 minutes.
see, I would love to have it, and if it tastes good, I'm in. but ultimately, like beer for me,
Yeah, we're
it's kind of like it's kind of like
volume drinkers,
but it's kind of like food where. When I rolled in here, we're hanging out inside Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply right now, and there was a customer talking about like I got XYZ cut of meat, and it's 7 or 8 pounds, and it's like, well, that's mighty small, my brother. And so and then you kind of put that in with who you're cooking for, et cetera.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going for quantity here.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So for me, if I'm sitting on the couch, with the Super Bowl and everything intact, can I have one
Ultras?
14% beer?
You're on the ultras.
Or can I have 6 final finals?
No.
I'd rather have 6 final finals. I'd rather
I'm
do
with
that every
you,
single
by the way.
time.
Yeah.
But, that's the cool thing about the craft beer industry, too. And you mentioned, Summit. Like, I don't even look at you and Summit as a competitor.
Not at all.
Given where you are, what you do, distribution, all of those things. And that's the cool thing about it is you guys can coexist. You can both thrive and succeed in your own rights. But the craft beer thing, like, the IPA craze, like, how much hops can I put in this beer? I want to burn my tongue off. To, XYZ, certain flavors.
Yeah.
We're chasing, well, I got a 60-minute IPA. You know what I got? I got a 90-minute IPA. Oh, you got a 90-minute IPA. You know what I'm going to do? 120-minute IPA.
You just wait.
And so, but it's just kind of funny, those trends and things. But I've had beers that are 12, 13% that are just, it's putrid.
Yeah.
But I've had a few that are, you're talking like 14%, you said. You don't know that it's 14%. So I'm gonna need you to tell me before I think about having the second one. So if you let me know in advance, then I will I'll just have one. Just have one guy to keep it cool.
It's a sipper for sure.
Can we call that when you're done?
It's a school
there you
night.
go, you're done.
Oh, that's perfect. How about that?
You're done or I'm done.
You're done.
Final, call the cab. But ultimately, again, and I appreciate you guys doing this, whether it's, it's for your insight, it's just fun hanging out, having some beers and talking about barbecue. But as this thing unfolds, again, we can dig deeper into bits. I loved the thing that you brought up to me. This is 3-4 months ago, so there's zero chance you remember it.
Is that an old joke?
But
what the hell?
But I love the idea of, like, if we tonight, and it's on the spot, so I'm not interested in committing to it now. But for the next time, maybe between now, maybe a couple of weeks from now, we do another one. And then we got to figure out the frequency of these two.
Yep.
Is the three of us, and Kenny wants to.
Ken's got to do it too.
So he's
bringing the beer.
He's got to. Yeah, correct.
Where's the hops?
Yeah, correct. He's the hops portion of it. The Hogs name.
Genius, by the way.
Unfortunately,
Good call.
I could lose a little weight, get like a couple of pounds. So I'm the hog of the bunch. But at any rate, we all cook something.
Yeah.
And then via social media, report back.
Mm-hmm.
What did we experience?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Yep.
Because I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and I'm not against it at all. I would actually prefer just to look at it on the internet, but just reading through the recipes down to the pinch of rosemary
There's
and
so
time on the turkey. And it's super helpful. I would never chide anybody for doing that. And you can, and that's the ultimate resource of it. But I think that would be a fun way versus doing just, here's a recipe.
Yeah.
No, actually check out my account on Twitter or something like that. Here's what I actually cooked with it. Here's what I encountered, and that's in the podcast.
Yeah, I think it should be.
And
this is how it turned out.
And just talk about the ebbs and flows of it.
Yeah, I think the education comes from the, and it, like, I've been cooking for years, so it's like when Ken asked me, what did you ruin? And I'm like, lots of things. Like, can you be more specific? Yeah,
but you're also
what device?
You guys are so damn good though, and I don't need to pump your tires, but you had some flop sweat to you when you were cooking those carnitas, for instance.
Yeah, that was
you
a different deal.
You brought over like a baby dish to try and fry the pork.
Yeah, that was.
And you realized
of all,
it was like a saucer for a kitten. You brought that thing over.
Well, so now wait a minute. Let me back up. We're never going to end this thing. So at my house, I'm like, Missy, we've got a big cast iron pot, right?
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, it's down there under that, in that, you guys have that space in your kitchen you never go to. There's where all the, like, random stuff goes to.
We got
And
the
she was
lazy
it's down there.
Susan bit that-
So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, cool. In my head, it was this big thing.
It was not.
It was in the smallest cabinet in your kitchen,
No.
and you brought out this pan that barely fit in there, but
That's
it was
right.
still.
I forgot. So, like,
I'm actually going to borrow it when I have my baby girl in June. She can eat mushed carrots out of it.
It's not that small.
I thought you wanted to like saute like one egg in it or something like that.
Yeah, we went down. So, Ken, you're going to appreciate this. Like, we're in this mall with a bunch of like foodies. I went down to popcorn. I'm like, who's got something bigger than Sue? Lives really close by, and she's like, oh yeah, I've got one at home. I'll go get it
Sue's
for
the
you.
MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, save the day, because I'm trying to like, I called Missy. Would you run to Target? She's got 15 meetings. No, you're on your own. I'm like, God damn it. But yeah, we figured it out. Sue, and now we've got Sue's big pot in the back room so we can cook carnitas. But yeah,
that was funny.
That was.
I brought that up to
you-
rip
you
you
guys
and to
gotta
compliment
understand, like,
you because you stayed in the game and you handled it well.
Yep. Well, we had carnitas.
We had carnitas.
We did.
And they were delicious.
The path to victory was, a little
Now,
rocky, but
when we do the social media bit, mine's going to look a lot like John's because I'm going to call him 7 or 8 times to make sure that I'm doing it the right way.
you guys are going to be in the same driveway.
Might as
I'm
well.
gonna call, yeah. His Traeger. When's the last time you fired up that thing?
Let's not talk about that right now.
Well, he can't. He doesn't have time because he's at my house.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm at his
Taking
house
care of you.
cooking. I'm here working, and
We got to go to the meeting.
and then I got to go to heavy rotation and try the beers there.
Yeah.
I'm so busy.
Anytime you want to come, man, we'll take care of you. So.
All right, well, hey, let's do this. Let's put a cap on this thing. Hops and Hogs, Episode 1, The Mission. That's Aaron and John from Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply, Ken Smith of Heavy Rotation Brewing, and me, Nordo. Thank you so much for listening to Hops and Hogs. It's a barbecue podcast. Subscribe and listen via the free iHeartRadio app or wherever else you get your podcasts. And follow us on X or Twitter at Hops Hogs BBQ. Crack a beer, fire up that smoker, and we'll talk again in a couple weeks.